2020. In all the years that I've been writing about the economy, I've never seen anything that even comes close to what we're experiencing now. More than 100,000 businesses have permanently failed, and tens of millions of Americans have lost their jobs. A few weeks ago, I produced a segment on small business in America. Starting a small business from nothing and building it into a success takes a massive amount of work, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for anyone that's able to do that. Tragically, so many once thriving small businesses have been destroyed by the events of 2020. For a lot of those small business owners, it isn't just time and energy that are lost. When you make your small business your passion, it becomes part of who you are, and a lot of small business owners will never be the same again after this. So please keep in mind that there are real people and real dreams behind each of the numbers that I'm about to share with you. The following are 17 facts that prove that the US economy is a complete and total disaster zone at this point. Number 1. According to the San Francisco Chamber of Commerce, more than half all the storefronts in the city of San Francisco are no longer in business. Number 2. Just last week, New York City reported an unemployment rate of almost 20% during July. Number 3. Speaking of New York, 83, twice as many jobs as it did after Hurricane Katrina. Number 5. In South Carolina, an eye-popping 52% of all renters are, quote-unquote, at risk of eviction. 6. Americans now owe more than $20 billion in unpaid rent. 7. Overall, 27% of all Americans failed to make their rent or mortgage payment last month. 8. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, the delinquency rate on residential mortgages increased by 386 basis points last quarter. That was the most rapid rise we've ever seen by a very wide margin. 9. US bankruptcies are already at their highest level in 10 years, and they're expected to. That was the most rapid rise we've ever seen by a very wide margin. 9. US bankruptcies are already at their highest level in 10 years, and they're expected to surge dramatically as we approach the end of this calendar year. 10. For companies with more than $1 billion in assets, it's being projected that there'll be a record number of bankruptcies in 2020. 11. World trade plunged to the lowest levels on record during the month of June. 12. The percentage of hotel mortgages that are 30 or more days delinquent soared to a massive 23.4% last month. 13. American Airlines just announced that they'll be eliminating 19,000 jobs next month. 14. 31% of US workers who were brought back to work after being laid off during the early stages of this pandemic have been laid off a second time, and another 26% have been told that layoffs may be coming soon. 15. According to one recent survey, about half all US workers that have been laid off during this pandemic believe that their job losses are permanent. 16. The IRS is projecting that it will receive 37 million fewer W-2 forms for this year than originally anticipated. 17. Over the last 22 weeks, more than 57 million people have filed new claims for unemployment benefits. In all US history, we've never seen anything remotely comparable to this. Many of the numbers in the list I just gave you are so catastrophic that they practically defy belief. What we experienced in 2008 and 2009 was certainly a deep recession. But what we're experiencing now is orders of magnitude worse. At this point, even the mainstream media is admitting that this new downturn will be with us for a long time. For example, the following comes from a CNN article entitled, "We'll be stuck in this economic slump for years, economists say." Quote, "America remains in a deep downturn and is running across a serious level until 2022. A majority of those experts also say that the US job market will be back to its February level in 2022 at the earliest." End of quote. Those projections are actually way too optimistic. Industry after industry is in the process of unravelling. Major economic bubbles are bursting all around us, and the economic pain on the horizon is going to dwarf what we're going through right now. The mainstream media admits that a collapse has happened, but they still believe that eventually things will turn around and get back to where they were before. There are even some people out there who actually believe that America's greatest days of economic prosperity are still ahead of us. You can go ahead and believe that if you want, and I definitely understand that many people would prefer to be optimistic about the future. But sticking our heads in the sand won't make the facts go away. It's taken decades of catastrophic decisions to get us to this point, and anyone that thinks we can just snap our fingers and turn things around is just being delusional. Food inflation has recently been in the news a great deal. With many people out of work due to COVID-19, it's taking its toll on the working poor who were already struggling well before the virus brought much of the economy to a halt. SNAP was designed to supplement the food budget of needy families so that they could purchase healthy food and move towards self-sufficiency. Instead, it's become a general food budget of needy families so that they could purchase healthy food and move towards self-sufficiency. Instead, it's become a generous gift to grocers and the companies that pre-package snacks. Anyone who's travelled to other countries will immediately notice that not all food is packaged in small, hard plastic and pumped full of preservatives. These packaging practices have been a big factor in driving food prices higher. A 2018 analysis reported that the 3 largest food and beverage companies in the US are PepsiCo, Tyson Foods and Nestle. All of these are big beneficiaries of SNAP. A great deal of money could be saved if purchases were limited to just a few approved items. This would eliminate much of the wasteful spending going to items. From all indications, one group that has not been a huge beneficiary of rising food prices is farmers. A new report released on August the 4th by the American Farm Bureau Federation, AFB, shows farm bankruptcies have continued to increase. AFB found bankruptcies rose 8% over the last 12 months with 580 filings. The Midwest, Northwest and Southeast recorded the most farm bankruptcies. Filings slowed in the first half of 2020, partly because of direct financial assistance provided to farmers via the Coronavirus Food Assistance Program and Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, loans.